It's all about people. And generally, the money will follow.
Your voice matters, but you can make it matter more. Through our in-depth conversations with leaders and experts, you'll learn what it takes to move your audience with your message at home, work, and in the world. It's Compelling Communication Strategy, brought to you by your host, author, speaker, and strategist, Andrea Joy Wenburg. Welcome to Voice of Influence.
People of influence know that their voice matters and they can make it matter more. I'm Andrea Wenburg, and this is the Voice of Influence podcast. Well, today I am thrilled to introduce you to Andrea Wenburg, who happens to be my husband, and he is also a physical therapist, co-owner of Sandhills Physical Therapy and Sports Rehab Clinics, loving father, and awesome husband. In the near future, we'll be doing an episode where we really talk about our relationship and how we handle each having businesses and the kind of relationship that we've cultivated and grown over the past 15 years. But for now, today, what I'd really like to do is share with you Aaron. He's had a great amount of influence on my life and continues to, and my business. He is respected, and people look to him quite often for advice or to help them figure out the answers to problems that they have. So I'm really excited, genuinely excited, to introduce you to him today and to share with you this interview. So we talk about his own experience of why he became a physical therapist and how it really is a good mix of business and caring for people, as well as some of the things that he struggled with, how he overcomes those struggles. And his is a message of resilience, of learning to have grit, to keep going even when things get hard, to wade through the mess, even when things are messy, even if you don't like it being messy. I'm really genuinely excited to share with you the advice he gives and his experience, because I really think that it's going to touch you in a very special way. Now, I did take a little bit of liberty and we went a little long on this interview because, it's not very often that I get to sit down with Aaron for a whole hour and have him talk the whole time. I don't know if that's ever happened, quite frankly, but it's so fun. It was so fun to be able to hear his perspective and get him to talk about himself, which is something he doesn't ever do. I really think that you'll find it worth it. And in the end, you will forgive me for letting this interview go a little long. And at the end, we do cover some questions that people from our audience or our friends asked me to ask him for this episode. So I'm excited to share those answers with you as well. All right, enjoy this interview with Andrea Wenburg. All right, so Andrea Wenburg, welcome to the Voice of Influence podcast.
Thank you.
I am so glad that you are here today. This has got to be one of my favorite, I've got this big, huge grin on my face right now. I'm excited to talk to you.
Well, good. Well, see how it goes. No guarantees on this one. So.
Well, thank you for agreeing to do it. Okay, so I have for you some questions about you, and then I have some questions that other people asked. I let Facebook know that I was going to be doing this interview with you, and we had some people chime in with a few questions that they wanted me to ask you, and so I'm going to do that too. But let's start with, you are a physical therapist.
Mm-hmm.
You have a doctorate of physical therapy, and you did a residency after you graduated. It was about 5 years later, right after we got married, that we moved to La Crosse, Wisconsin, and you did a sports medicine residency there for physical therapy. And then we came back and you had a job, and then we ended up moving to where we are now, where you are now the owner, one of the owners of Sandhills Physical Therapy and Sports Rehab in North Platte, Nebraska. So Aaron, first of all, What got you interested in physical therapy in the first place? Because you knew from a long time ago that you were going to do it. So how old were you when you first decided that you were going to be a physical therapist?
Honestly, I'm not really sure. Probably in the latter parts of high school, I guess. I grew up in a small town funeral home. My dad was the local mortician in a town of 800 people. So living there, growing up there, my brothers and I were exposed to various health-related issues. And I think that probably spurred some of my interest in health and general well-being, I guess, at a young age. From that point, I think I saw my dad. I saw him take a lot of call time, a lot of nights and weekends where he would have to get up and work. I knew I didn't necessarily want that. I appreciated a lot of what he did and how he helped people and got to work with people, but I also knew I didn't want to be on call. So I kind of started looking at other healthcare related fields from that end. And physical therapy allowed me to, one, get to know the patient maybe a little bit more, but also have some ability to make a diagnosis and affect health, I guess. And that's been an enjoyable part of it, I guess, from that end.
So you knew early on when you were kind of deciding to go the physical therapy route that physical therapy allowed you to both help people with their health, but at the same time get to know the patient maybe a little better than you would if you were seeing them once every few months or that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess there's somewhat of the relationship component that I enjoyed. I guess I saw my parents have relationships with people, whether it was my mom teaching school or my dad in the community aspect, and appreciated that and felt that physical therapy maybe allowed me to have a little bit more time with people. And, fortunately, unfortunately, many of the things I deal with in the rehab setting, people don't get better quickly. As much as I try to help them quickly, most of it is a process, and it's working through the little problems and this comes up, how are we going to do this differently, or how are we going to affect that? And I think with that, I got to use aspects of health and aspects of stuff I was looking into anyway as a kid. That kind of spoke to me that way. I guess I also kind of liked the aspect of it was a challenge to get into school. There was a nice aspect of, well, if you work really hard and do this, this, and this, you might have the ability to get into school and enjoy that achievement aspect of it too, I guess. So I'd say that's probably the initial drive towards it.
And that drive, or that achieving the entry into med school and then achieving other things, has been a theme, I think, in your life.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think drives you to want to achieve different things? Some people are really, really motivated to achieve, and others are just motivated to do other things. It's not always all about achievements.
I don't know. I think as I get older, I think that's one of the things I'm gradually learning more and more about myself, in that I'm happier when I am working towards something, or working towards something, have a goal and I can make in my head of the plans that I would like to work towards. Not always that I achieve all those or anything, but it does help my mental side of things to say, okay, here's the method or the workings that I'm gonna go for, I guess. And then if it doesn't work out, that's fine. But at least I enjoy the process of working towards that. And I don't sit still very well. I don't have the ability to precisely relax within I don't know.
We've talked about how hard it is for us to have fun, and that fun for us is really more that if we feel like we're building something, or if we feel like we're working towards something, that's more fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of that I enjoyed making things better. They're restoring something or building, knowing that I can say, hey, this is better because of some plan or some action or some process. I don't know, even playing a game or whatnot. It's not just about winning the game. It's about, I'll find more satisfaction in finding a new way to win the game and still win the game as opposed to just winning the game, I guess. So.
Okay, sorry. Apologize for the giggles here. Okay, tell me about the new way of winning the game piece. What do you mean?
Like I said, I enjoy the process of developing new things and discovering ways to do things. And, mini games I feel are a lot of chance, and I like to build into as much of my own strategy that can win the game and still win the game a chance as well. I don't know. I think that is a little extra piece of achievement that I like to throw in there, I guess. So,
and that's fun. It's not fun for those who play with you, but unless we're on your team.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
All right. So did you always know that you wanted to be a business owner or own your own clinic? Or at what point did you realize that that's what you wanted?
No, I did not set out to own a business or, that's never been a grand goal of mine for sure. After, working for several different people, all great people, it was just a sense of this decision was made, but not knowing the process of what the decision or how the decision came about, I guess. I knew I wanted a piece of that. And part of that, probably I can easily become a victim, make myself a victim and sit in that. And I'm not very happy in that mode, but I can easily go down that victimhood road, I guess. And when I feel like I have a part in the decision process, a part in the thinking through, it makes me become more of a part of it, more active and more, more driven towards a certain goal with it. And I guess that was a part of the decision making to own a business and own multiple businesses and be a part of that, because I think, like I said, I enjoy the process and enjoy that as much as the end goal, I guess.
I love that. I love that you love the process, because this whole idea of being a business owner is messy and difficult, but you're saying that you like that because it is a process and you can do something about it in the midst of it. And really, the role that you play at your clinics, and that you play multiple roles, and everybody does, your partners do as well. And I think that I see for you, you're playing that COO role a lot, the operations and making sure that people are doing well, and not just the patients, but then also the team and partners who partner with you in other clinics as well. You are always kind of in that, you don't mind the developmental nature of it all.
Yeah, I think the development is when you grow. And like I said, the restorative, I hate to use the word process again, but the process of building, achieving, getting better and better every day, no matter what that is something I feel I'm happiest in. And I've always said it's going to be hard for me to retire because I need that next process or that next activity to get to. And whatever eventual retirement looks like, or eventual, whatever next 20, 50, 70 years looks like, I think it has to have some component of that building and that physically, emotionally, spiritually, health. All of those components is when I feel I'm best, and when I feel I'm making the most headway.
How do you cope when you're not making progress in one of those areas? Because I know that's really hard.
Certain times in my life I've done better at it than others. I mean, you can probably cover that as well as I can and say, but I'd say different times in my life I've done differing things as well. I think a fair bit of coping is waking up the next morning, and then the day after that, and the day after that, of keeping your head down and keep grinding know that, hey, this is the process, and lately been trying to tell myself, well, what's the worst thing that can happen with this?
With this meaning?
With whatever's going on.
Okay.
With this activity or this event or this business or whatever. And well, if that does happen, we're going to be okay. We'll figure that out and we'll adapt and adjust and keep moving forward with the fundamentals of faith, the fundamentals of the things I know are true, the things that I value in my family, the things I value in friends and relationships, I guess. And that's what I keep trying to tell myself. Certain days are better than others, but I guess that's the foundation that it goes back to.
Well, I mean, that is hard. It's hard for me too. It's hard for anybody to feel like we're stuck or that we are stagnant. And growth is such a beautiful part of life. And when we feel like we're not growing, I think it can easily start to feel like we have nowhere to go. But this is the way I would phrase what you were saying. If I can't be destroyed by this, then let's just keep going.
Bingo. Yep.
I can't be destroyed by this.
Mm-hmm. I would very much say that's a part of what has become more evident as we move along, I guess, in life, I guess.
Yeah. And like you were talking about the tendency toward feeling like a victim. I mean, it sounds to me like what you're saying is, as long as I can still do something about it, what can I do something about? Mm-hmm. As long as I'm taking action and I'm making some kind of impact, then I'm not a victim. Mm-hmm. I can have agency. I can make a difference. My voice matters.
Yes, I would agree.
Yeah. So from what I know of you, Aaron, people who are close to you tend to come to you with their concerns a lot, and they always have. They feel comfortable with you, even though you're not like some big charismatic whatever.
I'm not a lot of things. You're right.
But you're this is a stretch to be doing so much talking in one sitting, I think.
You're right.
Which is really fun for me. I've got a captive interviewee here. But people tend to feel comfortable coming to you with hard things or bringing their concerns to you. I mean, that's what I've seen. Do you sense that as well?
No, I don't know. I guess I can't speak for anybody else, but that's kind of been one of those things along the way that has been just a part of me and is normal. I guess I can't speak to anybody else's normal, but that's me, I guess.
Yeah. I wonder if it has to do with your desire for that developmental process, to be a part of the developmental process. So you are open to that. You're constantly working on that and moving towards goals and fixing problems, really. So when people have a problem and they think that you can speak to that or help them somehow, they come to you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I realize I'm not perfect. I'm not close to perfect and yet still enjoy the process and the part in people to know that they can develop more, and however much I can facilitate that, the better, I guess. I enjoy listening to people's ideas. When I make a decision, I appreciate everybody's inputs, their opinions and whatnot. Not that I'm going to use any of them, but I do enjoy, okay, you think this because of what, or you think this because of that. And just as somewhat of a measuring stick to see if my ideas or activities align with the way you're thinking or somebody else is thinking, I guess. And so maybe that process of listening, the process of trying to figure out the problem as well as figure out that person or figure out a solution. One, I find that enjoyable, and maybe that translates to the person. And number two, hopefully it benefits them as well.
Yeah, I like that. I like that answer. Okay, I have some questions from other people, so I'm going to go ahead and start with those now. One of the questions, Tad asks, where do you feel your voice is most influential? Would you tie it back to kind of what we were talking about just a little bit ago, or do you have other thoughts on that?
The most influential. That's a good question, because
Tad likes to ask good questions, right?
he does. Doggone it, Tad. I think it depends on the situation, but I think I play a little part in a lot of different roles, and I wouldn't say it's very influential at all, but I hope to get little nuggets in the people that I'm closest to, I guess. Apart from that, hopefully my actions speak as loudly or louder than my speaking ability or this podcast or any of it. But I think it's probably most influential to those closest to me, I guess. Would you concur?
I would concur, yes, because you're not going to broadcast your voice.
No.
I'm broadcasting your voice, but you wouldn't do it on your own. Oh gosh, we'll get to that in a second. But I think it is that sort of steady presence, you care. And in fact, that actually leads to a question that Roseanne asked, which is, physical therapy has to do with both healthcare and sort of the diagnostic kind of thing, but also with caring for people. And her question was, how do you balance both the business side of things? You got to get the job done. You got to keep things. You guys have to make sure that everything is sustainable and that the team is doing well and all that sort of thing. The business side of things, or the money side of things, but then also the team and the patient side of things. So how do you balance the two of those? Which one takes precedence?
Honestly, it's tough because you always have the money side of things, and you can always look at the number of this or that from year to year, and it's easy to, okay, we just want to do this many dollars more than last year. We want to, see this many more people. We want to do, keep reaching that goal. But I think it goes back to, okay, what is the main goal? The main goal is to broaden our reach, help people, and try to help them make the world a better place. And largely, if we do that, generally the business side of things takes care of itself. And with good people around, helps so much. And I guess the ability to know that it's part of my job too. And I take decent satisfaction in providing jobs for good quality people that I know are helping people as well. And I feel like I can be of service and of help that way too. So trying to keep the bigger goal, the bigger mission, and it's all about people. And generally the money will follow, I guess.
And I know that sometimes you've had to make hard decisions or have hard conversations or whatever throughout life, but especially in the last 10 years of owning a business and owning a few businesses. In those cases, how do you know when it's time to disappoint somebody or say no to somebody? You know what I mean? Like, have those challenging conversations that most people really shrink away from, or they handle with such, a heavy hand and arrogance that they come off as not being helpful to everybody in the end. How do you see a balance there for yourself?
I think part of that comes, and I really try to get a decent understanding of where the other person, the other event is coming from, I guess. Trying to put myself in their shoes and granted, I can't completely understand that and realize that they're dealing with a whole bunch of other circumstances that I don't know as well as they don't know my circumstances. And from being on both sides of that, I'm trying to take all of that into account. And I also know that I'm not right over half the time, and neither are they, but we're going to move through it, and we're going to be okay. Just having that point of resiliency. Here's what I know is true, and we're going to keep moving forward, and it's not going to be pretty, and it's not going to be the most elegant thing in the world, but we're going to be resilient, and we're going to muddle through this, and in the end, it's going to be better than it is now, I guess.
Do you think sorry.
Go ahead.
Darn it. I definitely don't like it when I interrupt you. Shoot.
That's all I got. Yeah.
Oh, you guys, you have no idea. I cannot interrupt my husband because he has a lot to say, but he doesn't say very much. And so, so when he is talking, I need to keep my mouth shut. But an interviewer in me comes out right now. So it sounds like you're pretty comfortable with mess, that muddling through it, like you said. I mean, would you say that you're comfortable with the mess, or you've just gotten used to it and know that you've built this resilience over time? Or
No, I'm not comfortable with it. I don't know anybody is, and I don't like it. But there's a part of it, I guess, you can somewhat expect, and nothing's perfect. Nothing's, truly set apart. I mean, there were times in my career I'd go to work thinking that, okay, today is going to be a great, easy day, great day. I'm going to do this, do this, do this. And then it never turned out that way. And I'm like, why was I even setting my expectation up for that? Okay, here's some of the things I'm going to have to work through and get through. And it's still going to be a good day. But that's just the part of the living in our world as we see it, I guess.
yeah, like it's not going to be easy, but I'm going to get through it and it's going to be okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Brenda asks, how have current events affected you or your business? And she's referring to, I believe she's referring to COVID-19 and everything that's happened.
Mm-hmm. It's difficult, but yet it's also one of those things that, however it affects us or occurs, we are going to get through it. And I hope with everybody around me, we'll get through it as well. And obviously are looking at expenses, looking at things we're doing, absolutely, but also knowing that we will get through this, I guess, and know that we have great people on board and believe in our mission and do feel that if it doesn't work out, we'll be okay as well.
At the time of this recording, at the end of April, you haven't had to actually shut the doors on the clinic yet, or the other clinics. What precautions do you guys have to take, or have you been taking?
Honestly, the payroll protection program has helped us maintain consistent cash flow through the clinics. But instead of taking it as this is a terrible thing, we've tried to switch that storyboard to, okay, this is a great time to improve yourself, trying to encourage the clinic to get continuing ed in, work on certain skills or maneuvers you have we always have that list of stuff we want to read up on or study more or get better at, I guess, and trying to promote those activities as well as promote as healthcare providers or influential people throughout the community, what things can we put more of our energy to now to further help people. And one of the main things I like about physical therapy, it has a lot of great people in the profession.
This is true.
That want to have a heart for people and want to see people improved. And I guess I enjoy that community, and they are always willing to help throughout the community and stuff like that too. So we're really trying to promote more of that and really feel like this is a unique time to develop skills also and help out. And so far, so good, I guess.
Okay. Sarah asks, now this is a question kind of about me too. What has been the most challenging thing for you in the transition of Andrea working, in particular, the writing books, starting Voice of Influence, and how have we worked through that? Now, I'll say this, Sarah, we will cover this more in depth in a future interview where we'll have more of a conversation about our relationship and our working relationship. But Aaron, what has been something that's been really challenging for you in this?
In this transition?
It's not really a transition anymore. We'll say that too.
No.
We're full in.
Yeah. I think initially for me, the hardest part was knowing when I could, or we could have our discussions about activities many times I'll come to you and ask you what you think about this or that, or that sort of thing. I think prior to that, it was basically all on my schedule, and I could, find you in, the various times, or when you brought me the lunch, or when you did this or that, I guess. And I guess I have to be a little bit more strategic with, okay, this is our time to talk. This is when I can, in fact, save this for when we get together, or stuff like that. I guess that was probably, I guess, that transition as much as any. And also in that time, knowing that, yeah, this is the time that works best for us. So I need to be fully present and, figure out this answer or this concern in that time, versus, well, maybe I don't quite feel up to it, or maybe we don't need to talk about this or that, I guess. Does that make sense?
It does. I think there was something about, like, we started to look at our conversations in terms of, when do we talk about your business? When do we talk about my business? When do we talk about our children, our family? And one of the things that we implemented actually quite a while ago was, about every quarter or so, every 3 months or so, we'd go out to dinner, and we'd call it our date. And we don't really do date night. We go for walks, or we talk, or, we do different things. But if we have a chance to be playing with our family, we play with our family. Otherwise, we're building and doing stuff. So, but we would take this time to go out to dinner, and it would be all about, where are we? Where do we want to go? What are the challenges that we're going to be facing here in the next few months? How do we want to handle that with our schedule? What are our concerns about our kids, or things that we want to make sure that they have, and that sort of thing. And so that was one very practical thing that we started doing. And then I would agree with you too, that one of the hardest things is knowing when we're in problem solving mode, and when we're just going to listen mode.
Yeah.
That's hard for me too. Like, the men get a bad rap. They get that a lot, like that they're in this problem solving mode. I just want to be heard. And trust me, that's been flipped around in our marriage some too. So, okay. I think I'll summarize the other two questions. Sam and Audrey were kind of asking about the blessings and challenges of living with a deep thinker, somebody like me. And Audrey used the words wonderful and talented. Thank you, Audrey. But I think the point is, I'm stepping out there and I'm doing things or whatever. And also the deep thinker thing. What are some of the blessings and challenges that you would, or maybe even just one of each for now?
Blessings. It's I enjoy watching you do your thing, and enjoy sitting back and knowing the process and seeing it just flow out there and make a difference. I guess I get probably more satisfaction from that than you do in all this, I guess. So that's a huge blessing, even though there's tough times and challenges, and it's not easy. But yeah, I do feel, and I've felt this for years, that we needed to get your voice heard throughout the world, and ability to make an impact wherever that is. And so it definitely makes an impact on me, and is one of those things that I get more enjoyment out of it than you probably know. And the challenge aspect of that, I don't know. Life is a challenge. I don't expect it to be easy. And I guess whatever is good and noble and just is going to be hard. And in those hard times, I keep trying to tell myself that. I think just knowing that it is going to be hard, and there has to be a process or a system or a way to work through that. And like I said, get up every morning and get going with it, I guess. So I don't know if I was specific on that, but that's kind of what I got. I don't know.
That's okay. That's all right. Thank you. I'm tearing up a little bit, by the way. But I think to Sam's question about living with a deep thinker, Sam, you need to know, and every audience, you should know this, that when we were first developing a relationship before dating and whatnot, one of the things that Aaron said to me that really piqued my interest and made me even more interested in him as a potential life partner was, he said, I don't like fluff. And that word fluff, I kind of parsed it out a little bit after a while and kind of figured out that he's a deep thinker. He thinks differently than I do. So we're deep thinkers in different ways, I think. But we both have a very strong sense of values, common values, both about people and about process and development and moving towards a goal. But then also there was a little less tolerance for things that are on the surface, which for a while was hard for us to kind of figure out, like, aren't we supposed to, like when we first got married or whatever, aren't we supposed to look a certain way like other people? And we were pretty serious. We've always been pretty serious, which kind of drives at least one of our children nuts. But we've also had to grow together in, being a little more lighthearted with our kids and being able to play and things like that too. So I'd say that he's also a deep thinker, I guess is what I wanted to say. It's not just me, just so you know.
Yes, I would agree.
And then finally, Sarah asks, what have you found most helpful from Andrea in supporting you in your career?
I think the recurrent themes of, hey, we're in this together. I care about you and we're going to be okay. And I think that reminder of that, well, why did you say this? Well, ultimately, it's for my good. And going back to that, I guess, has been the most helpful. And then from that respect, the conversation about this or that is valuable. The conversation about, well, I talked to this person today, or what do you think about this? Or just that additional partner in life that has ultimately my good in mind, even though sometimes it's hard, it's tough, but going back to that, I guess, has been the most helpful. And that's something that you've always done a good job of. And I appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate a lot of things about you too. Your steadiness, especially right now in terms of what we were all experiencing with COVID-19. Just my reaction versus your reaction was very different. And you've always helped me to remain a little bit more steady. And I think that we balance each other out in some ways when it comes to our passion and what we care about. And I'm grateful for you, Aaron, and your voice of influence in my life and how you have, all the things that you do for me as well.
Thank you.
One last question for you. If you could go back to your 30-year-old self and talk to yourself about being a voice of influence, like, look, you're going to want to have influence on people. You're going to want to have an impact in the world or whatever. What advice would you give yourself?
I would say worry less and do more. I can get into the point of paralysis by analysis. And one thing I would tell myself to just dive in and you'll be okay. I feel I'm working through more and more of that as I grow older. But yeah, that'd probably be the most beneficial thing for me.
Awesome. Well, thank you for taking time to do this interview. I appreciate it.
Well, you are welcome.
You've reached the conclusion of today's episode, but we encourage you to visit voiceofinfluence.net for more resources, show notes, and ways to immediately empower your voice with updated, actionable tips to build your compelling communication strategy. Again, that's voiceofinfluence.net. Thanks for listening, and we look forward to helping you make your voice matter more.
Dive in and you'll be okay.